Welcome to Valley Light English. Somebody sent a question yesterday about talking about the difference between the two words that we have on the board, being and being. And you would believe with me that so many people get confused when this is, especially when writing. So many people get confused about which is which and where each is used among these two words. Now, B-E-I-N-G, then B-E-E-N. People always ask questions about the difference between the two of them. Now, this is how it is going to be. Or rather, this is how I am going to take it. First, you need to remind yourself of two things: present tense, present continuous tense, also known as present progressive tense, and then perfect tense. You're talking about the present perfect tense or the past perfect tense. Now, always have this in your mind when you are making use of these two words: progressive and the perfect versions of tenses. Now, this first one that you see here, B-E-I-N-G, whenever you make use of it, that sentence must be in the progressive tense. It must be in the progressive tense. Maybe in the present progressive or in the past progressive tense. If you talk about progressive tense, you understand that I am talking about continuous tense. And the continuous tense talks about an action that is, if you're talking about the present continuous tense, you're talking about an action that is ongoing simultaneously with the speech. That is to say that as the person is speaking, that action is taking place. When you say something like, she is reading, anybody that hears you say that would understand that what you're trying to say is that as you're speaking, she is reading. You're not trying to say that it was something she did before. You are trying to say that this is something that is taking place as you are talking. She is reading, meaning that as at the time that you are talking, that reading is taking place. Now, a sentence like this, an expression like this is said to be in the present progressive tense form or in the present continuous tense form. Now, if you talk about the past progressive tense, here you are considering two actions. Now, this particular action, the one that is in that past progressive tense form, this action was on simultaneously with another action, or that this action was on when another action cut across it. Let's say, for instance, she was reading when I entered. The reading was on. It was progressive. It was ongoing when I entered. Two actions. The first one, the reading, was ongoing, and then I entered. This is where you talk about the past progressive tense form, also known as the past continuous tense. Now, any of these that you are talking about, that is when you need to pick one among these two words. The moment you pick B, the expression you make must be in the progressive tense form, either in the present progressive tense form or in the past progressive tense form. Take, for instance, when you say something like, let's use the word, she is being taught how to drive. She is being taught. Okay, let's forget about the board. You are going to see it on the screen. She is being taught how to drive. When you make a sentence like this, what it means is that as at the time you are speaking, she is being taught. That teaching is going on. Which teaching is that? The teaching about how to drive. She is being taught. As I am talking, somebody is teaching her how to drive. That is what it means. Or when you have something like, she was being taught how to drive, when there must be another action. As at that time, she was being taught. There is another action or another time frame that you're referring to. She was being taught. Now, when you make use of these, it normally goes with is or was or are or were. It makes use of any of these. Why? Because you notice that the progressive tense forms use these. An expression in the progressive tense form tends to pick up one of these as an auxiliary verb to stand before that verb. Remember that verbs in the progressive tense form normally take the ing suffix, right? And whenever you want to add that, it normally takes one of these. Okay, that is about being. In most cases, when you want to make use of being, it has to pick something from here. If not for any other thing, hold on to this one. Now, this second one is in the perfect tense form. It is in the perfect tense form. And if you talk about the perfect tense forms of expressions, these are where you have auxiliary verbs, have, has, and had. One of these should be there. Before you make use of this word, one of these has to come there. Now, let me use that drive again. In the first example that we gave, we said she is being taught how to drive, or she was being taught. We are making use of this. But in a situation where you want to present that expression in the perfect tense form, what you have there is she has been, I picked this, she has been taught how to drive. Because you have picked have, has, or had, it can never go with this. No. And when you pick any of these, it cannot go with this. Remember this. Whenever you pick one of these auxiliary verbs, it cannot go with this BEEN. And when you pick one of these, it cannot go with this one. So, this will help you to remember and know where to use any. I have been there before. I have been eating. Whenever you want to, any of these expressions that you make, what you have there is this. Once you use have, has, or had, you are picking this. I think you have to stop it here so the video doesn't appear too long. Now, if you still do not understand it, or there is a part of it that you still need more light to be thrown on, do not hesitate to come into the comment section, tell us about it, and let us discuss. Remember, this is Valley Light, and this is what we do here. We treat English and literature. If there is any area where you feel like that you're having problems in and you feel like it is something that we can do, just feel free. Go into the comment section of any post at all. Any post at all. Ask a question then. I will see it. And we're going to talk about it. Also remember, we still solicit for your invites. Invite students. Invite especially the secondary school students that I feel that they really need a platform as this. Try as much as you can to help us bring them closer so that they achieve this. Thank you so much.